you mentioned earlier that you're quite an outgoing personality and that it was so tough for you when you sort of started feeling lonely at home.
Yeah.
Did you follow any sort of practical measures to create connection with your team that the viewers can maybe learn from?
I think one of the first things I did, so when we're in the office, we actually sit quite close to each other. So, it's very easy to just roll your chair back and say, hey, are you good? Hey, let's go down and grab a coffee or whatnot. So the first things I did personally was I set up daily morning check-ins, which actually was very aligned to, the concept of, daily stand-ups within the agile methodology, which we're using as a company now in delivering our services. But I set up this meeting specifically, not necessarily for work, but everybody gets on the call and we go around the table and everybody just tells us how they're doing. It's literally just a check-in. How are you doing? How's the family doing? How are you feeling? And we switch on our videos so we can try and emulate that, personal sort of interaction. And, that was just one of the things that I did. But as a company, Sasol was very quick to offer services that speak to exactly this. If you're feeling a bit distant, you're feeling a bit lonely, you can call these numbers. They made those services have always been available. They generally are available for us. But I think there was a lot of work done to create that awareness, to make sure that, listen, these services are available, talk to these people. So those are some of the measures we took. So I think it works pretty well. We still have that session and it actually filtered to so many people as well. I know I spoke to my boss and the one time and he was asking me, how do I keep in touch with the people? Like, how do I keep in touch with the people? And I said, what we're going to do? We're going to set up a meeting every Friday where literally the whole department comes into this meeting and we don't even have to structure it formally. What we're interested in is, first of all, how's everybody doing? Secondly, communication we spoke about. So keep us in touch with what's happening in the company. How is COVID affecting us? Where are we getting the biggest hits? And that meeting proved to be such a hit that it still goes on every Friday up to this day. And I couldn't, it's evolved over the time. I mean, now we even have a position where we have a recognition wall. So every week we nominate or we put people up that you say, what, thank you so much for what you did for me during the week. It was awesome. So it's evolved into that as well. So I'm very proud that that was something that I came up with. And now it's serving the whole of our department. I like that very much.
That is amazing. And I like the recognition wall because it is, as you said, it's so important. You can't just go and take that person for a quick cup of coffee. So, Kagiso, I have to ask you, if you were tomorrow made the CEO of Sasol, would you do remote work or local work? What would you do? Or would you go for a hybrid?
I think for sure right now this is our new normal. I don't foresee us going back to traditional ways of working. So I'm a big advocate for hybrid type of work. I think what I would do probably is have departments come in rotationally. Maybe 1 week this little squad comes in, the next, or maybe 1 day of the week rather, and so we rotate. But I think working from home has also had its benefits. It's given people better quality of life. Being able to be at home is even though you're working, it creates bonds between you and your family members and whatnot. So I think that's important. So I would definitely advocate for some sort of a hybrid. I don't have the details now, but definitely some sort of a hybrid methodology where, you do a 50-50. Maybe you work 3 out of the 5 days. I think that would work.
I was thinking that your extrovert's going to go, no, we're all going back. I want my friends back at work. We were speaking about motivation earlier, about people wanting to work, and that because they see the value they add and the value that the company adds, they'll be motivated to keep going. What's the difference between that level of motivation and resilience for you?
That's a very good question. So, as motivated as you can be, whether you're motivated because that's just who you are as a person, or because work motivates you. we do find ourselves falling on hard times. This is a classic example. And resilience, then that's where resilience then comes in, and I don't think it's just a matter of being motivated that you'll be able to be resilient. But I think, there's other factors. We spoke about just, being able to just pick yourself up and carry on. At the end of the day, we offering a service, work makes us happy. I mean, that's why we do it. We get paid to work. But there are a lot of things that you can sort of probably count out. I can't think of any right now for why we should be more resilient. But resilience is absolutely, important. And I think a lot of leadership as well. I think that's where a lot of my resilience also comes in from as well. We spoke about leadership showing that resilience, I was showing that as a company and saying, you know what, we're not going to fold. We're not going to fall. I mean, we all have people that we look up to. And, as we listen to them, especially during these tough times, especially our leaders in the work context, I don't know where they get their resilience from, but I certainly draw a bit from them, as they talk and, they show that those sort of character that. So resilience absolutely it has to be at the forefront in tough times. And I mean, I know it's not always easy, but there are, luckily for us, we do have tools, we have courses, we have sort of psychology sort of programs within Sasol that kind of help with those things. When you unpack things and, you can actually get quite a lot of resilience coming out of those sort of processes. So that definitely should be at the forefront. We need to be more resilient, especially now. There's an old saying, very simple saying, but the tough get going when the going gets tough. And
Yes.
and I think that's just the bottom line. We have to just keep on get going.
We don't have an option not to get going.
No, I mean, imagine if we gave up as Sasol and people wouldn't have petrol, so many livelihoods would be affected. I mean, it's just not an option.
Indeed, indeed. So, Kagiso, if you cast your mind back to end of March last year when Level 5 started, what do you think are some of the biggest business learnings from then to now?
I think the very first one is, the world we live in is very unpredictable. We as much as we try and predict things, we do trend analysis and try and predict markets and all that. It's very unpredictable. So we should always just try to prepare ourselves for the worst at all times, whether whatever contingency that is, whether it's be flexible enough to be able to, at the press of a button, adapt your strategy to meet current situations. I think we need adaptability in strategy. We can't be so rigid as to just want to keep on following the same methods we've been using for the last 20 to 30 years as companies. So definitely adaptability. We definitely need to be more flexible in how we execute. I think we spoke about this a little bit, but this concept of bums on seat every day is this proof that it doesn't have to be that way. We can allow a bit of flexibility in terms of how our people work and how they deliver their work. And I think we just spoke about resilience. I think, the most resilient companies are the ones that come out even after this. And so I think, be resilient and try and just keep on pushing for the better of your company and your people and the people that you serve. So I think, that would be sort of the top 3 things I would think of.
Wonderful. So I hear you talking about an adaptability. Does that mean that we now, I saw this morning, we are, I think, sub 10,000 new infections on COVID. So hopefully we are busy moving out of that. But now they've already said, wave 4 is probably on its way in December. Do you think that businesses are optimally positioned now to be able to absorb the shock of that 4th wave if it comes?
I think businesses are. I think, and I mean, this goes across all industries. I think I'm seeing quite a lot of companies coming out and putting really the right measures. I think, the work is on us now, the people of the country, to, try and adhere by these guidelines that have been provided for us and, the best way to deal with this. I think the work is on us. I think businesses generally, I mean, there are one or two horrific cases where you have friends tell you, we're still expected to come in, even though, we've had a couple of people who were infected. Those kind of companies really leave a lot to be desired, in my opinion. But I think for the most part, organizations are doing very well. There's been quite decent adherence to COVID regulations from companies. So it's up to us as the people to stick to these regulations and actually make it work so we can come out on top of this.
Wonderful, wonderful. So where will you be 2 years from now? COVID is over. What are your big plans? Are you going to share with us?
Oh wow, that's interesting question. So we'll have a conversation about my studies one day, but I'm currently doing my honors in information technology. So hopefully that will be done and I would have moved on. In fact, I know it will be done and I would have moved on to doing my master's in IT, which is my ambition. So I'll probably be busy with that. Career-wise, I think I normally give myself around 3 years in a position. So I've just started this position. So 2 years from now, I'll probably be, drafting my plan to go into the next level. So
Yes.
so definitely I'll be gunning for my boss's job. I mean, I tell him this every day. So he's got 2 years to get into shape to be gunning for his boss's job. But definitely I'll be doing that. So yeah, that's me. I definitely think, I love Sasol so much, since you wouldn't believe it. So, you can never tell, but I think I'll still be with Sasol, and I want to still be continuing with sharing, all the learned knowledge that I have learned through the AFSUG, forum as well. I'm a big advocate for SAP HCM, HCM in general, HCM technology in general, really. So I like giving talks. I like interacting with other businesses to find out what they're getting up to, how we can help each other out. So I'll definitely be doing a lot of that. I'd like to get into youth mentoring. That's something that I'm really passionate about. I want, there are a lot of people that, if I talk about how my journey, it's amazing that I was such a naughty boy, but I'm doing reasonably well for myself now in terms of my career. And I want to share that with young people at some point or another. And hopefully I'll be a 2021 Rising Star Award winner. So yeah.
There we go. There we go. And I think that, if you've got that kind of accolade behind you, then mentorship is definitely the way to go. People would love to learn from you as much as you're probably going to learn through the process. Kagiso, the interesting thing, you were saying that you tell your boss daily that you're going to take his job from him. It's interesting that that you have that culture. Why do you think that works? Because I mean, everyone wants ambitious people until it's your job that's at stake. How do we breed more of that so that companies can move and be more dynamic?
For me, that's such an important thing for me, and I've been blessed with throughout my career. Innocent, I still talk to all my ex-managers, and I've been blessed with very, very good managers who've always encouraged me to gun for their jobs. So this doesn't come from me; it comes from the kind of leaders that I've experienced, and it's in turn made me that kind of a leader as well. So I say this to my team all the time that gun for my job. I mean, if I'm there for 3 years, then something is going wrong. My current CIO, when I met him, he said to me, we actually started working at Sasol on the same day. And we have a week orientation. And we started talking. I didn't know what he was going to be doing there. He didn't know what I was going to be doing there. But we headed off and we started talking. And he said to me, if you're in a position for more than 3 years, then you become stale, actually. Because you get so stuck in a routine way of doing things that it's very possible that you don't see new things that come. So I think for the sustainability and for the continuous growth and performance of the company, you ought to refresh yourself every couple of years. 3 to 5 years for me is sort of my measure. And I find that it's true. In 3 years from now, what I know now will be almost irrelevant at that time. So I don't want to come into, stick with those old ways of working in the new environment. So I always try and up a level so that I can come up with new things, learn new things. and come up with new ideas to solve our problems. So I think for continuous improvement of a company, we really ought to adapt that sort of attitude of not having, the traditional 20-year in a row. I mean, there's young kids coming up, awesome young kids coming up, great leaders coming up that can make big differences in your company. So I'm definitely an advocate for that, and I've been very privileged throughout my career to have bosses that can speak freely about that. So I'm not afraid of anyone coming from my job. Actually, I actually encourage it.
Oh, that is fabulous. I love that approach. Especially, if you're going to be so busy with being a rising star when they nominate you. Accenture, can you hear us?
Exactly.
But Kagiso, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. It has been great to chat to you again.
I had an awesome time. Thank you so much for the invite. I really do appreciate it as well.
Only a pleasure. So everyone, once again, what a lovely coffee companion we have. I must tell you, I could still listen to Kagiso for hours on end. He has got such great ideas. And especially sort of seeing that, and I suppose there's a stereotype in this for me, but, I met him through the SAP African User Group, or the African SAP User Group. So, you expect to meet people who are very technical and, very focused on their technology. And here's this person who just actually comes with so much care to give to everyone. So if you've enjoyed this episode of Performance Cafe, then please, if you are on YouTube with us, on the page, not on the video, around about here, there's a button that says subscribe. So you can like and you can subscribe so that you know, and click on the notification bell, then you know when the next one is available. If you're watching us from LinkedIn or Facebook, thank you so much. Please like, comment, and share. Let's get the news and the information from all these fabulous people we interview out to everyone. And then, until the next solo, I look forward to seeing you at the Performance Cafe.